In this video, we outline 5 of the strangest and most intriguing events related to extraterrestrials and alien contact with our planet. The question of our place in the universe has forever been deep in our minds and imaginations. For millennia, there have been references and artifacts demonstrating humankind's curiosity in the matter. In more recent times, programs such as SETI, or the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, have been internationally implemented to further the search for other civilizations and to answer the big question, are we alone? The WOW signal. In August of 1977, a strong radio signal was received by the Big Ear Radio Telescope, operated by Ohio State University in the United States. While analyzing data that had been collected from previous days, astronomer Jerry Egan discovered a significant signal anomaly that fit the criteria for a possible alien signal. The signal appeared to come from the constellation Sagittarius and bore the expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. Mr. Eamon was so enthusiastic about the signal that he circled the data on the printout and wrote the words WOW next to it, hence the incident being known to this day as the WOW signal. The entire signal lasted for only 72 seconds and has not been detected since, despite several subsequent attempts by Mr. Eamon and others. Various hypotheses as to the source of the signal have been suggested, and while the possibility of a natural and earthly origin has not been completely discounted, the WOW signal is still considered by many to be the best sample ever received that could be a radio transmission from another civilization. But what do you think? The Black Knight Satellite. The Black Knight Satellite is claimed by many to be an object approximately 13,000 years old which orbits the Earth. Claimed by many to be of extraterrestrial origin and orbiting Earth in a near-polar orbit. Critics and more mainstream academics have argued that such statements are a conspiracy theory and a myth, and that the myth is a combination of various unrelated stories that have culminated into the current speculations. Theorists' claims about the object suggest that early radio experiments by Nikola Tesla in 1899 were some of the first recorded signals supporting their hypothesis for the Black Knight, which they claim was further recorded by Jørgen Hads in Oslo, Norway in 1928. Scottish author Duncan Loonan analyzed the long-delayed radio echoes received by Hals and others and speculated in 1973 that they could possibly originate from a 13,000-year-old extraterrestrial probe located in orbit around the Earth's moon. While no proof has so far emerged proving the existence of the object, a 1998 video released by NASA from the STS-88 mission created quite a stir. For many, it is believed to show the Black Knight satellite in orbit, and that NASA is deliberately misinforming the public as to what it really is. The object does appear quite odd, if not sinister, in the videos and photos. Many critics and scientists, however, speculate that it is simply a thermal blanket lost during an EVA spacewalk that was documented in the same mission by astronauts Jerry Ross and James Newman. The images are certainly very compelling, if not quite eerie. What do you think? Is this a rogue extraterrestrial object, or just a piece of space garbage? The Abydos helicopter. There are many who claim a continuous and historical visitation to Earth by extraterrestrials. The ancient Indians and Egyptians are often noted to have recorded specific markings and texts showing or mentioning visitation. At the Temple of Seti I in Egypt, one such written record is cited by many as proof of such visitation. The hieroglyphics carved in stone at Abydos are often referred to as the Abydos helicopter. It refers directly to an Egyptian hieroglyphic carving from the Temple of Seti I at Abydos, reported to be showing advanced technology, looking very much like flying machines and in one case even a modern helicopter. You can be the judge. Critics claim that the appearance is the result of the stone being reused over time and carved over by subsequent pharaohs, resulting in images that appear differently than intended, and that erosion has resulted in a misrepresentation of the carvings. What do you think? has taken vast strides over the past century, sending satellites and eventually humans into space. This time has marked an era of great discovery, but has also fueled further speculation about the existence of extraterrestrial craft and potentially alien beings. Furthering these speculations, additional reports and transmissions by many astronauts seem to add further credence to the theory for the existence of extraterrestrials. In April 1961, Russian cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to travel into space. This was followed by numerous missions by both Russia and the United States, and eventually followed by the landing of man on the moon, when mission commander Neil Armstrong and pilot Buzz Aldrin landed the lunar module on the moon in July of 1969.
I'm going to step off the land now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The Apollo mission successfully landed on the surface of the moon 6 times, before it was discontinued in 1972. Man has never officially returned to the surface of the moon since that time. A number of Apollo astronauts' conversations and transcripts have many theorists claiming there was much more found during the missions than has been released publicly. In fact, many of the astronauts themselves have made statements confirming their support for the existence of extraterrestrials. Why would they do that? And did they see or experience anything that convinced them so completely, yet were perhaps not permitted to speak about publicly? In later years, Neil Armstrong himself made some very curious statements about the real truth behind the explorations being undertaken, stating in a speech later in his life that much was left to be discovered by those who were able to overcome, quote, truth's protective layers. There's never been a satisfactory answer to why he spoke these words. That leaves many speculating that it was a hint to a more significant discovery than has been released publicly. Have a listen and determine for yourself what he may be referring to.
We have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
Other astronauts, most notably Dr. Edgar Mitchell, spent a great deal of his time after the lunar missions openly expressing his belief in aliens and working with various groups to present evidence to support that claim. Dr. Mitchell was one of the most expressive of the Apollo astronauts to speak about alien life. In one of his writings, yes, there have been ET visitations. There have been crashed craft. There have been material and bodies recovered. There's been a certain amount of reverse engineering that has allowed some of these craft, or some components, to be duplicated. And there is some group of people that may or may not be associated with government at this point that have this knowledge. They've been attempting to conceal this knowledge. People in high-level government have very little, if any, valid information about this. It has been the subject of disinformation in order to deflect attention and create confusion so the truth doesn't come out. With all of this information, with all of these statements from astronauts and people associated with government and space exploration, the real question is, what do you think? A hotel manager, Shane Sobar, and a local security guard reported seeing a large triangular UFO. They reported their findings to a group called the Aerial Phenomenal Investigations Team, which investigated the incident in some detail shortly thereafter. Sometime later, 3 witnesses at the hotel reported that 2 unidentified men in black visited the hotel looking for Mr. Silva, who was not available at the time. The employees were somewhat spooked by the 2 men, who, in both appearance and action, were somewhat strange and frightening, and reported this to Mr. Silva. The hotel's CCTV cameras were working at the time, and the footage released does indeed show 2 men arriving at the hotel, though further detail and information could not be ascertained as the men left promptly. though the footage remains a compelling piece of evidence often cited as proof of their existence. There is no proof whether the video footage and the reports are a hoax, or whether it was an actual event, or if the men in black are actually out there trying to keep us from knowing too much. You can be the judge. What do you think?